It's a baker and his wife, and they are desperate to have a child. And then the witch tells them that there's a curse been placed on the baker's family, that his family would always be a barren one, and that they can reverse the curse and have a child if they go into the woods and bring her the cape as red as blood, the hair as yellow as corn, the slipper as pure as gold, and the cow as white as milk. And that's what sort of sets the story off, really, is this search for these 4 items as everybody's going into the woods. When Rob told me that Emily was going to be playing the baker's wife, I just couldn't have been happier. She is such a constant source of fun and joy, and she's, for it to work, I think we both realised that, it's real give and take between us, and I think that just came incredibly naturally. There's so many layers to it as a piece. There's so many messages, but I think what I've always taken from it is just that thing of be careful what you wish for, because what's amazing in the film is that kind of 2/3 of the way through, all of the characters have got exactly what they wanted at the start of the film, and yet are still not happy or complete in any way. It's so many people's favourite musical, and I feel like I think it's a show that from the minute it opened, people have always thought, God, if you could translate that to film, if you could capture that on film, it could really work. But I think it's only when you get a director like Rob Marshall, who has such an understanding of musicals and a vision for film, that I think it takes someone like him to sort of pick it up by the scruff of its neck, really, and go, this is how we're going to tell this story. Every day I feel incredibly lucky to be part of it, to have the opportunity to be in the middle of it. It's a little overwhelming sometimes to, like, I love musicals. I grew up watching musicals, and then to be here in a film playing a role that I think at the most I only ever thought, gosh, I wonder if one day, if that came back to the West End, I'd be able to do it on stage. And yet to be here on these incredible sets with this incredible cast and incredible director at the very moment that it's being committed to film is, it's a little overwhelming sometimes. We were rehearsing the Your Fault song, which Meryl comes in at the end and sings The Last Midnight, and I thought she was just going to sing the first couple of lines because we were just around the piano, and she just banged the whole thing, and like I could feel every hair on my body like stand up, and I was looking at Anna, and we were just gobsmacked. I couldn't believe this voice was in there. I just didn't know, and it just like, it's the last minute, and we were like, oh my God. I remember thinking at the time, if this was an auction prize, it would go for millions of dollars to just be round a piano listening to Meryl Streep sing Stephen Sondheim songs, and I think people are going to be completely blown away by her performance. A whole load of people who aren't familiar with it as a show will find this musical that they might not necessarily have ever heard of, and it's so unique. It's so absolutely unique in the world of musical theatre to have something that's so funny and magical and serious and beautiful. Like it the whole world that it's in. I don't know that there's another musical that's sort of set in such a time and place. The Baker and the Baker's Wife are sort of the, I guess, the heart at the centre of the show, in terms of they really sort of are the audience, really. They're the only people in this whole thing who at points are going, what? this is ridiculous, you know. So I've always seen them as characters, as representing who the audience are, and sort of the I guess the heart at the centre of it. Yeah. We did about 6 weeks rehearsals, where we were just in an empty rehearsal room using kind of very standard props, you know, cardboard trees and things like that. And for a while it felt like we were just putting on some strange touring production of Into the Woods. It just so happened to have all of these movie stars in it. And then at every stage it's just got more and more exciting. And, you know, you come in and you know, you're incredibly nervous, and then that first day is done, and then there's the moment where you all have to sort of sing in front of each other, and you're like, well, there's Meryl Streep and she's singing and she's amazing, and you know, you're trying not to be fired, really. That was my experience the first 2 weeks, just trying to step up, really. I think the incredible thing about what Colleen's done with the costumes is like they've all just got this kick to them, where like Jack's costume, for example, I don't know, I just, it's just, the greatest thing you could say about her costumes is they're just not how I imagined all of them, and the second you see them you go, oh my goodness, it's just perfect, you know. Like, I'm just thrilled that I'm not in some big white flower coloured you know what I mean, Baker's costume. Like, when she showed me the pictures, I was like, wow, this is great, you know. At every point, the costumes that people have got are they're so exciting, and there's like you notice a different thing every time you look at them, and the texture of it and the fabrics of it. It's you know, she's that's why she's the best on the planet. You know, it really is. I really believe that to be the case. You know.